Let's get started. Today, Newport Harbor Lutheran Church will present Dr. Emma Whitten in concert for Recital Soli. Dr. Emma Whitten is one of the best concert organists around, I know. She has performed all over the world, in Europe, in South America, St. John Divine, in New York City, Los Angeles, and she's also, this is really fun, a regular is Freckles organ in San Diego, which is the only, as far as I know, the only outdoor organ in the world. She regularly plays there, so you should get on their list, and if you ever want to go love today's program, you can go see her there in the future. She will be back. Soli Gloria means glory to God alone. It was a sign that composers used that the work that they wrote was produced for the sake of praising God. And composers like Handel and Bach would use this as one of their basic beliefs. It came from the Reformation. So Emma's going to play a lot of wonderful music, and she'll talk about it too, but it includes the music of Bach, the music of Reger, and especially settings on our favorite hymns, Lutherans, Mighty Fortress. So I hope you enjoy this program. Please, I just want to have to say a few things. Make sure your cell phones are on silent, on vibrate. You don't have to completely put them away. You can use them and record. Make some recordings of Dr. Whitten playing, and make sure when you do that, you post it on your Instagram, Facebook, whatever you use, Nextdoor app, and show all your friends how much fun you're having here at this wonderful concert. Make them so jealous that they're not here. Also, there's an email list in the back of the church. You might have seen it when you walked in. Feel free to sign your name on it and be notified about future concerts. We have a lot of events going on here. Our wonderful pastor, Pastor Dan, you stand up, Pastor Dan, is our new program. We just had a wonderful event with installation. We have wonderful services at 9:15 every Sunday. You can come and see some wonderful music directed by myself and Gal Henderson from our beautiful choir. You can also, real quick, to make sure if you love this program, look at the back of your program. Dr. Emma and David, who's in the audience, made a recording on the Hazel Wright organ in Christ Cathedral. You can listen to that recording if you want for the 150th anniversary. One of the composers that Emma will play today. So let's all give a warm round of applause and a warm welcome to Dr. Emma Whitten.
Thank you very much. Thank you all so much for being here this afternoon. It's great to see a lot of familiar faces here, especially some of my choir members who've been with me all day. So thank you so much. At the very beginning, you heard a spectacular movement from one of Mendelssohn's organ sonatas, the first movement of his third sonata in A major, with this magnificent wedding march written for his sister, and then later added with some music based on a Lutheran chorale, Tiefer Not, Out of the Depths I Cry to Thee, from Psalm 130. This is music based on this really rich tradition of music that we have in the Lutheran chorales, some of which may seem like unfamiliar or maybe less tuneful melodies to us today, but many of which are in our contemporary hymnals and have made this incredible body of musical themes for composers to play with across the centuries. So after the Mendelssohn, you heard Bach's setting of that same chorale, Out of the Depths I Cry to Thee, and two more settings by J.S. Bach. And Bach, in many of his, particularly his sacred manuscripts, would write the initials SDG for Soli Deo Gloria, all glory be to God alone. Following this, we're going to we'll have a contemporary of Bach's, Georg Böhm, who was probably one of Bach's early organ teachers, actually. If you can imagine, that's quite a large role to fill. I'm sure he had, I don't know, one sort of wonders if he had any idea what impact his teaching would have had, and of course with Bach's incredible compositional output later. And so Böhm's chorale is based on a setting of the Lord's Prayer, Our Father who art in heaven, and it's a beautiful lyrical setting to give us something slightly more meditative and prayerful. And then I'll follow that with a 20th century German chorale prelude, in this case based on our beloved Lutheran hymn, A Mighty Fortress is Our God. This is by Helmut Walke, a German virtuoso organist who also happened to be blind. Was blind from his teenage years and was known not only for his compositions but also for his incredibly virtuosic playing, all essentially from memory, and these incredibly complex contrapuntal works. He would learn one voice at a time, and then just knew how they all layered over each other in the end, which is kind of unbelievable for me to imagine. And so I'll play those two as a set. So here's Georg Böhm's setting of the Lord's Prayer, followed by Helmut Walke's setting of A Mighty Fortress. Next, I'll play two more contemporary chorale settings. The first is actually based on a Christmas chorale, Lo, How a Rose Are Blooming, which isn't quite in season, but it's so beautiful, and it really showcases a more impressionistic style, these very late French Romantic harmonies, which are really beautiful on this organ. And I have to say, every time I come here, I admire the roses out in the front. So if you didn't see them on your way in, take a look on the way out. Always beautiful. And I'll follow that with a fairly unusual chorale prelude by organist standards. This is more in the jazz idiom, and it's called Swing 5, based on the chorale by Halton's Hair, or Lord, Keep us steadfast in thy word, which is definitely still sung today, but I'd say a little less common than Once Like a Mighty Fortress. But this takes this 16th century chorale and really turns it into a swing work, a little reminiscent of Dave Brubeck's Take 5, for example. It's in what we call a 5/4 meter, with 5 beats per measure instead of 4. And the right hand is basically the solo instrument, and uses little bits of the chorale, but then really takes off with this great jazz improvisation around it. So I think it's really fun and works so well on this instrument. So I hope you enjoy. Here's Marguerite de Jong's setting of Lo, How a Rose Are Blooming, followed by Johannes Matthias Michel's setting of Swing 5.
We hope you've enjoyed this part of the program so far. As we wind down for the last part, which will involve some singing on your part, please consider supporting our program. You can make a donation, suggest $20 donations per audience member. So if you feel like donating something, anything really helps. It doesn't have to be 20. It really helps support wonderful artists like Emma. For our program and do more things and have more events. Emma was actually sponsored by an anonymous congregation member who really loves organ music. So if you're also interested in supporting an artist or sponsoring an event, you can also talk to me about doing that. That being said, there are levels of donations too that you include in your programs. We have sustainer, which is $1,000 above benefactor, $500 to $100, patron, $250 to $500, sponsor, $125 to $250, and donor, $50 to $125. So if you feel like making a donation, you can maybe check out to Newport Harbor Lutheran Church and write the music program or music in the memo. We greatly appreciate your support and also for your being here, because you just being here really makes these wonderful programs possible. What else is there to say? We have some more events. Well, Emma is re-registering already for her next wonderful finale. We have the Phantom of the Opera. We'll be doing a silent movie on the screens here, and we'll be having some soloists singing some selections from the hit musical. So if you want to come out, that's on October 27th. I have some flyers I can get out after the program that you can feel free to share or take a picture of. And it's a really fun event, and we also encourage you to dress up. And then later in the year, we'll have a Christmas program and other programs coming up being planned for next year. So please also make sure you put your name share them with your friends, tell them how much fun you're having here, because we really love music here at Newport Harbor Lutheran. We're so glad you're here to enjoy and support us. So without further ado, I'm to Emma, and she's going to talk about the final part of our wonderful program.
All right, thank you so much. Before I speak about the end, I'd like to just say thank you all once again so much for being here, coming out to support organ music. We really, really appreciate it. And thank you so much to Nicholas and Pastor Dan and everyone here for always being so welcoming. And I had the pleasure of being here for the installation last Sunday, and it was just incredible. I almost blew the roof off with brass quintet and organ and choir. It was really an honor to be a part of it. The final third of the program today is all based around the probably best known Lutheran chorale, A Mighty Fortress Is Our God. And I thought it would be fitting if we all sang. So we're going to start by singing two verses of the hymn number 504 in your hymnals. We'll sing the first two verses of A Mighty Fortress. And then after that, I'll go into this chorale fantasia by a German composer, Max Greger, from the 19th century, early 20th century. And he takes the melody of A Mighty Fortress and he treats it in every way imaginable. It's in every voice on the organ, harmonizations you've never even thought of hearing before. It, in some ways, is very organized as far as a composition, and in some ways is very chaotic. It's a lot of fun, and it's really a great celebration of all things Lutheran with the chorale and German Romantic organ music in general. And as Nicholas said at the beginning, on the back of your programs, there's just a little shout out. We just released a recording, including me playing this very piece at Christ Cathedral. This was just released on Thursday, so it's hot off the press, so to speak, in the online equivalent. And it should be available on your favorite streaming platforms, so Apple Music, on Spotify, it's on YouTube if you search. I put a couple QR codes, so please do give that a listen and hear some Rager on the Hazelbright organ at Christ Cathedral, just down the road. All right, so without further ado, let's sing verses 1 and 2 of A Mighty Fortress Is Our God, followed by Max Greger's chorale fantasia on the same hymn. Thank you all so much. Let's stand.
All stand. And make sure, I want to hear singing. I know there's some choir members here, so please sing.
Sing.